Okay, back to hammer and chisel, and you can see what I'm doing is cutting off the side of the head. Now it'd be tempting to get a chainsaw now and just trim that back. However, if I did that, I would be making flat lines around, which I'd then have to curve off. I think going the wrong way. So it's better to stay with the hammer and chisel and just chisel your way round, knocking lumps off. Got the rough outline of his ear just here, so I've got that to work with, and the distance of the corner of the eye from the corner of your head, so I'm conscious of this distance. So once I've got the distance here between the corner of his head and his eye, then I can shape this better. But at the moment I think I'm getting pretty close to where that is. So it's going to be chiseling back, putting his temple in just here, chisel back a bit, pull the whole lot rounder to get a better general perspective of his face. But yeah, we're going good. Got my safety equipment on. So yeah. What I'm trying to do is round off this forehead piece. Now I've got to go with the grain of the wood, because if I try and go from over here, watch what happens. It chips like a big chunk. It's not going to work. I can't cut the wood. It's going against the grain. So by going here, I can get smooth cuts, smaller bits, get it nice and consistent. How nice that's coming off. So I have to go this way, which means I'm constantly going to have to come back and have a look to try and get this curvature subtly of the front of his head. Okay, so here we go, getting a bit of the head now, getting it round, but you can see he's still too square here, isn't he? Bit like Frankenstein, you know, flat head at the moment. So I've got to pull this more in to give him a bit more of an egg-heady type shape, and the same here, I've got to pull that bit down a bit. But one thing that's interesting, when you're actually carving, what do you think about? What's actually on your mind? So when you're carving, I have the general image of the forehead in my head, just generally speaking, and I just maintain an image of a head. Then when I've got my chisel, I'm just chiseling and getting the rough shape, but then I'm also getting lumps and bumps out as I go with the chisel to make a smooth surface. So the question I'm asking is, how much does the conceptualization and me thinking have on what happens with the chisel? Because I'm just chiseling away. That's why there's no how-to here. It's just have faith in yourself, cut in there, chisel and just go with your instinct, because what's happening is out of what's in here is coming out there. So I don't know what he's going to look like. The only reference point I'm using is the image in my head. So how big does this ear have to be? Probably about there. And I'm gathering, I'm just thinking where my own ears are and working it out from there. But either way, just by looking at this, we can see we need more work. So let's get to it. Cut some more off there. I'll probably use a saw to do this actually, a bit of a chainsaw just to nip off here and a bit across the front, because I've got a fair way to go. Because if you look from the side here, his head is flat right up to there. Well, that's not true, is it? Normally, in nature. So I get my head and go, oh, gee, it goes back pretty quick from there, and this one doesn't. So just based on that bit, got to pull this back. So it's a bit of mess with a chainsaw, but I will cut him in there and just pull it back a bit, then get back there with my chisel. So let's get to it. Yeah. Well, now the scary bit. Getting into him with this. Oh, this is scary, but we have the guts. We'll do it. Safety protection. On we go. Let's give him a bit of an egghead. That's a bit better. Maybe a little bit more off the top corner. Then up here. That's looking more like it. Got to get the back of his head a bit. Whew. Okay. That's trimmed him up a bit, so you can see now that he's more egg-shaped. And we're just going to pull that off, and all I'm going to use for that is just one of these 40 grit discs, just to get these nibs off, and then I'll get into there with my chisel. So just like that. See, we're taken off that harsh edge, and this isn't bad for doing that. It's a lot quicker than a chisel, and I don't like it because you get messy. Chisel's good. So let's just get and sand these harsh areas off, and then we'll go into there and maybe have a bit of a look at his ear. Yeah.